Okay, so here you pretty much have a vertical lift. It's a VLM from Modula. It's a Italian design machine. It's built in the U.S., so they have the manufacturing companies in Maine. So pretty much one of the main things here is first thing is the safeties. You have emergency stop here on the co-pilot. You have your on and off switch on the right side. Pretty much you have light curtains. You have a light curtain that runs along the side, on the front, so anytime you activate the light curtain as the machine's operating, it would actually stop, and it'll give you a light curtain interrupted, and then obviously you would have to do 3 steps to clear it out and then continue for the machine to operate at its command. You have the electrical components down in here, which is usually, it goes 420 goes in there, but then it transforms to usually 20 volts. Then you have 480 going to the motor, and then you have 480 coming into the on and off switch. Another thing is you have light curtains or height curtains behind this door as the tray comes out. Obviously you put whatever you store on the tray. As it takes it back, it will read the height of the tray. Once it takes it in there, it'll know where to store it, where there's enough space. If there's not enough space, obviously it would spit it back out, tell you not insufficient space. So obviously you would have to remove the item, do a compaction, which is going to rearrange all the trays and give you the max space that it's allowed to give you. In this case, some of the errors you might encounter is usually the light curtain. The other error would be not enough space or overhanging or item overhanging, which would be once it opens the door, if there's an item or plastic hanging over the back side of the tray, it's going to detect it and it's going to spit it back out, letting you know that there's something overhanging on the back side. The other thing would be, as you're loading it, you have to always make sure that any little plastic or anything that's above the tray, if it actually reads it as it goes in, it's going to take, say it's just a plastic sticking out, it's going to take the 3 inches from that plastic. So you always want to make sure that the plastic's the same size as the tray to give you the max space available. Another thing would be support. So if you have any issues, as in the machine you can't clear out an error, you would have to call the support. Which on the support, there's a 1-800 number you call. You're going to have to identify or give the serial number, which is located on the left side of the machine by the on and off switch. So it has a serial number, order number. You're going to have to give a name, email, callback number, and then what they'll do is they'll give you a call back. You log into here as support. So this is you have your advanced user, or you have your operator user, and then you have also your support. So if you have issues with the machine, you obviously would go into support, click on support. You would give this password to the Modula service tech, push forward. He's going to give you a 6-digit password, enter it here, and obviously it goes into manual mode, which you would be able to manually move the machine to correct any errors you're encountering. And then obviously when you're done, this gives you about ½ hour of playing time before it boots you out of the support mode. So it'll take you back to your login page, which is here. You would have to re-enter if you need more time to address any issues you have with the machine. You would have to enter the password again. It will tell you, press this, press that, and then it would actually, you would be able to clear the error. If there's an error that's, for example, if there's an error that you can't clear out, that it's an adjustment or something like that, obviously they would contact us, we'll come out here, or at least for the first 2 years, contact us, we'll come out here, adjust any issues, and then obviously we would be able to clear it out. Most of the time, it's like a 95% of the time, they're able to clear it through the phone with the support. So, you know, if you have any questions on that, just, you know, let us know. Another thing would be the password. The password for this, the main login, you have operator and advanced. Operator is just for any operator user. Advanced is typically for a supervisor. It has a few more functions to the advanced operator user. The system, the password is system08. Well, this is when you power up your machine, this is your first page that's going to come up.
Okay.
So this is, you have your advanced user, or you have your operator user, and then you have also your support. Your advanced, obviously this is typically for a supervisor, has the compaction mode, has the few more compaction user password change set up. So then the password here would be system 08. Always push enter. Do not push default. We'll change your language to a different language. So always make sure you push enter. And then this is your management. Obviously management would be where you're going to be operating the machine under. And then this is your management user. This is your tray. You call your tray out and then call tray. Once the light goes on, you're good to go ahead and retrieve anything you need to grab. Once you're done, step back, return tray. You block the light curtain. As it puts it away, it will stop. You're going to be working off open management, so you would be working off management, and this is what where you're going to be calling trays in and out. If you go back to your home screen, this is your main home screen. So you have utilities, another stop, emergency stop, and then you have a manual. So usually if you go into support, you're gonna always have to be in manual mode. So you know, and then it actually tells you up on the left corner. It'll show you run, and then it'll show you if it's an automatic or a manual. So if you push manual, it'll go ahead and transfer it to manual. And then you'll be able to manually move the units. And then you have switch off. So if you ever want to turn off the machine, you can go ahead and, you know, push switch off. Obviously hit the switch, and then it lets you know, okay, go ahead and turn off the power. And then utilities. Let's kind of go through the. So you have utility, you have configurations. Usually this is for, like, you know, to calibrate your touch screen. And then most of these other ones are usually for software. So the only one you would kind of use from here is just the calibration on the touch screen if you're having trouble, you know, functioning the actual touch screen. And then the other thing would be user logout. On this case, it just tells you to log out. Information. So this tells you all the information from the modular machine. So it'll tell you the model, order number, version of software, and then they actually tell you the serial number. And then if you're connected to the software, then obviously it would give you IP addresses and stuff like that. And then the schedule maintenance. So here it tells you schedule maintenance would be pretty much After 15,000 cycles, which one cycle is once it pulls the tray out, takes it back, that's one cycle. So the first maintenance would be at 15,000 cycles, then 30, and then at 30, Modular recommends changing the fingers on the paws that pull the tray in and out at like 35,000 cycles. And then at 45,000 cycles, Modular recommends to change the wheels on the elevator that goes up and down. It depends on how often you guys are going to use it. There's machines that that they've had it for 6-7 years and they haven't even got to the 30,000 cycles yet. So the more you use it, obviously, it'll actually alert you saying maintenance required. So in this case, you contact us. We'll come out here, do the maintenance, schedule it with you guys. The first maintenance is pretty much just lubricating, just adjusting, rechecking the elevator level. Just make sure the belts are centered to the pulley, and then just make sure the sensors are working correctly. Your voltage is correct. That's pretty much your first maintenance. And then it actually tells you here the missions, the number of missions that's done when it's maintenance. So it'd be 15,000, and then the date from the last maintenance. And then tray operations. So tray is if you need to add more trays. Obviously, you just go load trays, and then you would have to go into automatic mode to load and extract trays. Utility. Tray operations, remove your, this
No, it's okay.
so you'd have to remove the little lever, which is this thing, remove this bolt, lift up this unit, insert the tray, and then bring this back down once the tray's in, and then obviously you'd push forward. And then make sure the trays, you would obviously pull the tray back to make sure it's aligned correctly. Forward into the tray number. And then tray insert. Machine will go ahead and take the tray. Once you're done, go ahead and end. Obviously it tells you to, tighten back the bracket. Bring it back down. Put the screw back on there. Prevents it from anyone pulling out trays. And then go ahead and push end. And then back to your home page, and then management. So the third page on this has the compaction. So when you're loading, this is something that you're going to have to be constantly going back in here. It depends on how much of big items you store in there. But when you go into compactions, you're going to activate compaction and then calculate compaction. And if so for example, now it has a list of 3 trays. So for example, the machine knows it's going to move these trays to give you its max space. So this is pretty good if you have a small machine and you're loading stuff in there. You constantly want to do that, not constantly, but you want to do this once in a while to give you its, the max space on your VLM as you're loading. Once you do this, you go ahead and confirm. The machine's going to start moving trays around, and then it's going to give you, it takes about a minute, so it gives you an estimated time of a minute. If you have more than 40, 50 trays, obviously if it's going to move 30, 40 trays, it's going to take a little longer than that, but you'll show a list of all the trays that it's going to move on here. It usually goes off activation from compaction. If you activate it and for whatever reason, say you don't want to do it and you back out, it's still going to be activated. So it's, as you say, you go back to management, it's not going to let you call anything. Everything's going to be solid. So if you go into compactions and you cancel out, just make sure you deactivate compaction, and then you'll be able to log out, and then you'll be able to call trays out of that. User, this is if you want to change passwords for the users, an advanced operator. It's just 2 passwords. So obviously, operator, you would only be able to create 1 password, and in advance another password as well. Once you have the software, then obviously you could add several different users to the software. Data, work order, these are just pretty much if to grab data from the machine. If your module ever asks for it, then you put a USB drive, download the data, or download the data to the software or update the compile it. Let's see here, console log. These are just tells you, when was, it just pretty much keeps a log of who's ever messing with the machine, what they do. So it just kind of keeps a log of what's going on with the machine. And that's pretty much just this is your advanced user. So the operator user is not going to have all these. You're only going to probably see maybe like 3 of these, and then your main page. So the advanced user is the one that has, the compaction, be able to retrieve trays or load trays on advanced mode only. Operators just operating the machine, and pretty much that's it. You could get information. You'd be able to get information from the information page, and pretty much that's it. So on management, this is your main management page here. So here on the top you have the tray number. So you can either go up or down, call a tray, or you can click on it and then call tray number 3, enter, call tray at the top right corner. So as it comes out, I'm going to stop it, and these are the scenarios that you're constantly going to see on a daily basis. So once the door is still open and the tray is still coming out, it's going to activate the light barrier. So the way to clear that out, it says safety barrier activated, inverted. So you just have to go forward. Always, the machine always has to be in run, and then it always has to run in automatic. So you go ahead and push automatic, yes. And it's going to slowly pull it out. If you get it right when it's coming out of the elevator, it's still going to bring it out slowly and then continue on with its cycle. So obviously if you have that, or say you have, usually it picks it up if something's overhanging as it sends it back. Okay, so if you have an overhanging item towards the back, say the paperwork that's there, you don't see it, you enter it, you return the tray. It's going to grab it, spit it back out, and it's going to give you an error saying size error on low platform area, overhanging load. So obviously it's just telling you that there's something overhanging on the back side of the platform. So to correct that, you obviously look down through the back, making sure there's nothing there. You find the issue, put it back in its place. You're always going to encounter this since your door is open. So you're always going to have your light barrier interrupted, because once the door is open, your light curtains are active. So obviously you would go forward. Always the machine has to be on run, so you always make sure you push run. And it always has to run on automatic. So you go ahead and push automatic. You want to switch to automatic, yes. And it's gonna go ahead and do the last command. We obviously we will return tray, so it's just giving you the error again. Return tray, grabs it, picks it up, picks it up.
Okay. Okay, so the other thing, what was the other thing you wanted to
The
show me?
other one would be light current interrupted if you grab anything before the actual tray comes out. So say we call in a tray, you typically don't want to block anywhere along this light curtain until your LED lights come on. So for example, if I reach in here, it's going to stop the machine since my LED lights are not on and then my door is open. So that indicates your light curtain is still active. To go ahead and clear that would be, forward, run, and then it's going to ask you to go back into automatic. Yes. And then it'll slowly come out to its location. Doors will close, your LED lights will turn on. Once they're on, you go ahead and grab everything. So the good way to know once the lights come on, your LED lights come on, that's a good idea. Just let you know, okay, I can go in there and grab my stuff. Once the LEDs are off, then obviously the door is still open. And it's, that's an encounter you're going to get. This is probably by far like 80% of the time you're going to get this interference of the light curtain. If you didn't have the door, then it would be a whole different thing. Every time you block it, then it takes about a minute just to clear out and continue on. So it's a good thing that you have the door. Other thing would be you have two. If you do a hard stop, same thing. It tells you, go forward. Tells you that the e-stop's on. You twist it, it releases. Obviously, you still have to go run automatic. And then, so if you, for whatever reason, it's running and you hear a loud bang as it's retrieving the tray, always make sure you just hit the hard stop and stop it. And then you have access panels on the sides of the machine. We always recommend to stop it, turn it off before you go in there, or even take the sides off. Typically, you would have to call a service, and then we'll come out here. We'll usually inspect it since it's under warranty. We'll check it out, and then go ahead and do the hard stop, lock it out since it's going to still be live. And then you can actually look in there, see what the deal is, if a tray got, if it hit or an item fell from the tray. And then if it's a tray that for whatever reason it got jammed up or something, then obviously you would have to call us. So for pretty much for any issue that you have, it's best to call Modula just for them to have a record of the issues you guys are having. So the best thing would be call Modula, and then they'll contact us, and then we'll be like, okay, I need you guys to head out there. So we're here in Santa Fe Springs. So we'll try to. Usually it's a 24-hour call, or a return call. If we're in the area, actually, we can stop by and we'll take care of that for you guys.